Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is July 26th of 2021. Let's see. I think this is, nope, wrong one. There. I saw some reviews of this DJI Pocket 2 on YouTube. That's the first place I saw it just in the last day or two. Looks like a really great camera with, I'll try to put a link below to maybe one or two of the best reviews of this. But it really, and this, apparently I've never had a GoPro or any camera like this. I have 3 Panasonic, cameras, but not something small like this, not with an automatic tracking system and stabilizer and all that type of stuff. So this looks like one hell of a camera for making some great YouTube videos. Of course, that's what I'm thinking of. So I'll put a link to this. I see, here's one link. I'm not sure how good it is. I'm not sure if this is one I watched or not. Let's see. I think I may have seen this this video here. See, from 2 years ago. A thief tries to steal a phone from the Mid-City Martial Arts instructor. Says bad idea. Let's watch this. I think this is going to be funny, and it's going to be going to make me feel good. I have a feeling.
A man tries to rob a woman in Mid-City, but boy was he in for a rude awakening. He did not realize that woman was a martial arts instructor. Kicking and punching is nothing new for martial arts instructor Meredith Livingood.
I did Taekwondo as a kid.
Now she teaches at 36 Chambers here at the New Orleans Boxing Club.
We teach classes in Kung Fu and Chinese kickboxing.
Those moves came in handy yesterday when this wannabe robber almost got a knockout punch. The man approached her pretending he was interested in classes. She didn't have a printout, so she told him to check out their social media page.
His phone wasn't working, so I got my phone out to show him where to look on the Instagram for the schedule. Good. So now we're gonna take the knee up higher.
She tried showing the man classes when suddenly he snatched her phone away and tried taking off on his bike. Oh, but he didn't get far.
Got him by the neck and was able to hold his leg so he couldn't move, and then I was able to get the phone back and push him away, kind of got him in the face once, and then herd him away from our student back to his bike to get him out of there as quickly as possible.
Did he scream? Did he react anywhere?
There was only screaming after I got him off.
He stepped at the wrong garage.
Lil Floyd lives next to the gym. He caught it all on surveillance video. At first, he wasn't sure if it was real or not.
But then I saw the anger in the situation. That's when me and my buddy ran down, and I ran down with my bat. So, but Meredith, she already had it taken care of already.
Every time he looks at the footage, he's blown away.
The fact that I've already known that she was already a black belt, I knew it was in her, but to finally see it, I'm not gonna cross her.
This thief probably won't either. I bet he won't come here again, huh?
I don't think he'll be back, no.
It wouldn't be wise.
No.
A tough lady. Now, we asked her if she called police, and she said nope. She said she already had it taken care of, and she says she was never scared. She actually feels empowered by the whole thing, Katie.
That is one way to look at it.
Yes.
I'm certainly not going to cross her.
Well, I was sort of hoping for I mean, she handled it right. I mean, she could have put some real pain on him and really hurt him, and she'd have been justified. But I'm glad she didn't. She handled it properly. She handled it properly. But deep down inside, I'd like to have, so. Oops. Trying to move this over here. Must be this one I need to move. Wait a minute. Got it locked. Yeah, there it is. Okay, move that over there. Okay, let me go back and lock that in position. Go to this one. Now I forget which one this is. Unlock it. Okay, well, I'll just leave it here, and I'll lock it, but I'll disable it right now. There we go. Well, this doesn't look right because it looks, I think this should probably be over in this other corner. That doesn't matter, leave that for now. I just had a sandwich and some potato salad, so excuse me. I'm not interested in, even more so this year, I'm not interested in the Olympics at all. And I really think, because I've heard in the past, every time you have the Olympics, one, it's, in my opinion, I don't know anything about it. I really, but I think the whole thing is corruption. VIPs with the Olympic Committee or whatever, when cities want the Olympics to come, they host these VIPs who come there and, are catered to, and they get the best food, they get the best hotel rooms, and all paid for by the city. And it's the whole thing. And then, of course, there's more to it than that. But then these cities spend unbelievable amounts of money in order, once they get it, or before they get it, I'm sure they do some things, but once they get it, they build stadiums and just everything that they need, and they think it's going to be an asset for the city, and that people are going to come to use their snow ski or their whatever they have to, and I don't think it ever works out that way. Yes, the city and the country, gets a lot of favorable publicity and learns about it and all that kind of, but I don't think it's worth it to the taxpayers at all. And I think they ought to do something. And I'm not I'm not original on this. I think that they should maybe just grease the entire country. Probably could use. Make Greece the home country of the Olympics. Make it there. That's where it is. Then they don't have to build. And the other countries should all kick in if you want to be in the, kick in, build their fancy infrastructure, whatever's needed, the hotels. And maybe when it's not the Olympics, it could be like a World's Fair or some reason to go to, Greece. And help the economy, help the people, and make sure that funds filter into, the working class, to the rank and file, and, rather than building these. I remember the Olympics when it was in Canada and in California, the amount of money that was spent was unbelievable. And I'm sure in the United States too, but I know in Canada I saw a documentary or something on 60 Minutes or something, that all that stuff that they did was just wasted, at a big expense and wasted. I mean, a great Olympics, but once it was over, you have these structures that you don't need, and probably Canada is still paying for the things. This is, well, I'm not going to get into that. That's really political, this Michael Flynn thing. At a church event. Well, maybe I can just pull up the, yeah, okay. Let me stop this though.
Just weeks after he seemed to endorse a Myanmar-style coup in the United States, former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn made these questionable comments over the weekend after being gifted a rifle during a church event in California.
I guess we are going to watch it.
This is one of our top quality guns, and
maybe I'll find somebody in Washington, D.C.
What?
Wow. He's retired, general retired, and I think he had a good reputation and was somebody to be respected, and I'm talking about General Flynn. And then anybody associated or anybody having anything to do with, former President Trump, my God. And from some stuff I saw on CNN, which I was surprised about, I believe that I'm not, this is what I saw, and it should be legit information, that the general is retired with a major big pension because of the rank and his years in service and all that type of stuff. But what I saw was that because you're an officer, even though you're retired, the military still has some type of control or something or other. And I think that they could actually go in. I don't want them to do this, and I think it would be a bad precedent, and I think it would be a bad idea. But I think they could go in and they could stop his pension. I'm sure the right wing would kick in and make him start a GoFundMe and make him he'd be up there with Bezos or those people in money. But wow, the number of people who Trump reached out to and took into government or whatever he did, he's really destroyed those people. Their reputations or whatever, and especially if you're like military or some of these other fields. That's your thing. Your service to your country and your integrity, and you have an association. Now, some of the people, I think a few of the people who went in with Trump, I think some of them honestly thought, well, I can keep the president from doing something crazy, or I can, but it was once you get around Trump, but the people who stand behind Trump or stood behind him and had that adoring, look and endorsed everything, I have no respect for those kind of people. And man, Chris Christie, former or I think he's former governor now, or is he still governor of New Jersey? I mean, that makes you sick to see him standing behind with that puppy dog look on his, face, and endorsing everything. And wow, and Trump despised him, I guess. And there's even video and audio where Governor Chris Christie shows up to endorse Trump, at an event, and Christie was trying to get any kind of an appointment, be picked as his vice president, or just then that wasn't available, and he's all these things, and he shows up. Trump makes a little speech or whatever. Christie's allowed to say a few words, about Trump supporting him and great man, and then Trump goes and stands at the back of the thing and has to try to look like adoringly at Trump every oh wow, man, this type of thing, and then the event ends, and somebody has the mic's still going, or live mics or something. Maybe Trump had it on him or something. He goes over, and I forget exactly what Trump said to him. You can get the hell out of here now and go. And wow. I just saw, and it was one of the two House members who were the two of the key Republican House. I think one of them was one that Speaker of the House Pelosi removed from the committee. Said, I'm not allowing those two, which is sort of unprecedented, because the Democrats, whoever's in control of the House, the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the House will, pick the committee and the whatever party it is, in this case the Democrats, and then the Republican minority leader, he picks the people, that he wants on the opposite, on the other side. So anyway, I'm already sidetracked. He picked two who, no way should they be on the House. They shouldn't even be allowed to be members of the House. But I doubt that but I mean, that would be perfect if the Speaker of the House, probably would have to be the House. And I know they could do that if they sought a vote. I'm sorry, you two people are, you can't serve in the House of Representatives, and whatever state they're from, North Carolina or Georgia or whatever. Just say, okay, well, you're not going to have representatives, these two, one or two, whatever it is. You're not going to have these people representing your state in the House of Representatives. You, of course, can have your governor, or however it's set up in your state, to appoint somebody new, and as long as they're not, terrorists and insurrectionists, then maybe we'll, maybe they'll be allowed to remain. Otherwise, I think the hearing starts, I think this next week. I don't want to watch it. I know what happened. I know who's responsible. I don't know what they're going to do about it, except I hope that they put out, like a report, like when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and when the 9/11 event happened, the report that was put out on that. I'm thinking that probably what should have happened is, the House, or the House and the Senate, they're entitled, if they want to, that's their job, to hold hearings and find out what happened when something happens. And, issue a report and pass laws or whatever if necessary. But in this case, I just think the president should have appointed a presidential commission, and that should have been the thing. But still, the House and the Senate would both want hearings, because if you have a committee, these committee appointments are important, and it's a way to, make you, look at me, type of situation, and maybe you'll get a following. And if you're going to be running for, re-election, or if you're going to be running for the presidency or something or other, if you are, one of these committees and you hold hearings and, you get cameras and microphones aimed at you, maybe that's going to, but yeah, I think Biden should have just appointed a presidential commission. And now he's smart. Biden's smart because of his years of service. I mean, I don't know how smart he is, but he's smart. I mean, I know who's not smart. If you appointed a president, in this situation, if I were appointing a presidential commission, I would appoint the best people. And I, by the way, would have the ability. I would know how to do that. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know, and there's a lot of ways I'm not smart. But I would know the people, to appoint the best people, and I'd appoint the best people, and I would not appoint any of the Republican insurrectionists who don't believe that the election was won by President Biden. Anybody who says, that President Biden didn't win, I wouldn't have them on the committee. I might privately say, here's the card of a psychiatrist. Maybe you should talk to this person and get some help. I mean, I would do something, I'd honestly do something like that. Our country has gotten into, and I don't know what, I've talked about this before, I don't know what we can do to fix things. I mean, I love, the computers, internet, all of that type of stuff. And I was in on the ground floor. I got my first computer in 1978. I was online with a bulletin board system starting in 1982, which I continued until the World Wide Web came online, and now I used the internet before the World Wide Web, was invented. But it was for pulling in message boards and sending emails, but once the World Wide Web, then I moved to what you're seeing now. Well, I went, of course, with various kinds of blogs. I can't remember. Every time somebody came along with something, I tried that. There's still at least 2 blogs or more that I never go to, and if you find them, you'll find years of posting things. What I think too, what we should be doing is looking at how things have failed, how things have gotten in the situation they are, and then what can we do to fix those things constitutionally. And that's the problem. Although I was never in favor of making any changes to the Constitution. Now I'm open to changing it. Because we've seen how it's failed us. But I think what we should do, and I've mentioned this in some videos before, we need to look at, okay, what went wrong, and then how can we fix the problem? Which I've talked about I won't go through all those again because I went through all those things. Why it's difficult to fix those things or get the other side to, cooperate, or, because each side, especially of course the Republicans, are looking, okay, what works out to our advantage, you know, and they don't, you know, it has worked out to their advantage. I started to say the College of Cardinals, you know, I never can come up with that. The people that elect, you know, the College of Electoral College, is that it? We need to keep it, but it shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to elect the people or whatever. It should just be whoever wins, you know, automatically whoever, you know, those things go to, that's the count, and that, you know. Because I always get tired of this thing of, well, you know, state law says that these electors, you know, they get to, you know, and they can change the other states have the thing passed, or no, it's just a formality, you know, what we need to do is, and the Supreme Court decisions, well, Supreme Court decisions, I mean, selection of Supreme Court justices. I've seen several things on the internet and I think talked about it on something. And I talked about, before that I talked about how difficult it would be to come up. I mean, what do you do to keep what's happening from happening, where you get judges that it doesn't matter what their political beliefs are, that they judge, you know, honestly, fairly, and justice, you know, along the lines of justice. But I've seen some things recently that people have gotten together and figured out a way. I forget the last one that I saw. Maybe they're all that way, and they studied the situation, and then they showed how it would have worked out if this plan were in effect. And if I remember correctly, the way the thing would work out, you'd have to change the no, actually you don't, because I think the Constitution just says, you know, a judicial system shall be established and rules shall be made, or whatever. So it could be changed pretty easily, although there would be court cases which would go to the Supreme Court, you know. And if I remember correctly, the way this thing worked is the current Supreme Court, those would remain as justices until they died or retired. And when they died or retired, they would not be replaced. You know, there wouldn't be a selection of somebody and then a voting in the Senate and all that kind of crap. But what would happen is when a president took office, and I'm guessing it's for a 4-year term, you know. When he takes office, he is allowed to pick a member of the Supreme, you know, appoint a member of the Supreme Court. And I don't think that the Senate would have to vote. It would just be the president. He got elected by the American people, and he appoints who is, you know, will serve for life unless he retires or dies. And then I guess if he has a second term, because I read the thing, but you know, if he has another term, then he will get to pick another. That's it. So the most that a president, if he serves 2 terms, he can appoint 2, and they serve and continue to serve. And when the next president takes office, he can appoint 1, and then he can, you know. And they did the thing was, okay, if over the past few years, you know, with Bush and Clinton, you know, Obama, and, you know, what would if it had been done, if it had been started back, what would it be? And it would have worked out that the Republicans, well, of course, the idea is that you'd be picking these justices not on really on political grounds, in a way, you know. But it worked out that the Republicans at this point in history would have a slight one majority, you know, on the court, but over time that it looked to me, and that would solve, because in the past I was thinking about, okay, maybe all the, you know, lawyers, nobody likes lawyers, maybe the state board, I mean, you know, maybe they should be picking the judges. And because hopefully they would pick people, scholarly people, and, you know, that for these things. But anyway, this other system looks like it works out, and it would cut out all of the crap that we've gone through, the shenanigans, you know, disgraceful shenanigans that the Republicans, you know, did. Of a vacancy became available, Obama was president, and a vacancy became available 9 months before Obama's term is to end, and the Republicans in the Senate, they control the Senate at that time, and we're not even going to hold hearings. So the next person will get to pick, you know. And then you have, you know, then you had, then when Trump took, you know, what did he do? Oh, yeah, there was like a month to go until Trump, you know, knew that he was, the election was, you know, and there was a month to go, and instead of, then, you know, like they reversed their position. Oh, well, there's a month to go until Biden, you know, takes office, but we're going to appoint, you know, they hardly had time to do it. They had to rush, Republicans had to rush, so he got to pick, I think, our worst president of all time ended up getting to pick 3 members of the, you know, Supreme Court. So what's going on with me? Actually, the last few days I've felt a little bit better. I sometimes forget to take my water pill, and I talked about that when I'm filling up my pill container. I put the stuff in, and then I have it in my container. You know, it tells me the day of the week and that kind of stuff. Sometimes when I'm filling these things, I'll be sitting here and, you know, filling it in. I may, instead of going, you know, morning and night, because some of them are twice a day, some are not twice a day, but sometimes I'd be filling these things. I would fill this roll because I have them laying on the, you know, and I would forget to put something in, you know, this. And usually when I do that, it's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stick with that. But I haven't been feeling too good lately, and so, well, anyway, I doubled up because I was having some problems. I doubled up on some water pills that make me urinate as best they can, and then I'm going all the time. And with other problems that I have, it's just. But when I used my most popular video was on a pill cutter. I think it was like a 3-minute video on YouTube, and you know, the pill goes in, and you come down with that blade and then cut it. I think I got 60,000 views on that. But I thought maybe I'm going about this wrong. One, make sure I do take a water pill every day, but instead of taking, and it's very small, well, let's see, in case there's people out there that actually know something, you know what they're talking about. Yeah, this is 40 milligram. So I'm not sure what sizes. I mean, I could tell my doctor that but I'm not going to do that. But, you know, I thought maybe. So I've started for the last few days cutting the water pill in half, and so I'm taking 20 milligrams a day, and actually it seems like it's working a little bit better. So, of course, I've been through this thing before, always trying to figure out, what I'm doing wrong and how I can do better. But right now it seems like it's, working a little bit. But I've got a bunch of pains and what have you. And I hope it's not on top of my head where they took out where the doctor took a large skin cancer off the top, and there's a place close to that, and I have to see, eventually I'm going to see the dermatologist again. And it seems like every time I haven't seen him that many times, but it seems like every time I see him, he says, oh, okay, it's on something, When I saw the eye doctor, I hadn't been in 6 years because I didn't like the other one. And when I went this time, I told you this, I said, all I do is from bed to desk. That's my life, bed to desk. And she said, well, don't you go someplace? And I said, doctor's appointments, that's it. And she said, well, oh, you don't drive someplace? I don't have a car, I don't have a driver's license. I said, all I do is bed. And so she looked at my cataracts, and she says, well, if that's all you're doing, she says, I don't think we need to do anything. For now, once a year we'll check it. And I think basically, like she was saying, you'll probably, she didn't actually say it, we're not going to have to do anything. It's just you're going to die. And so it's gotten dark. Maybe I think it was dark when I started here. Oh, by the way, for this I'm using, started to say Manicam. No, I am using OBS 27.0.1, and I think the reason I switched to it, I've used it in the past, but the reason I switched to it was because the last 2 or 3 videos I made for YouTube, the audio was out of sync. Let's see if it's in sync now. Which camera? This one. I won't know till I watch this, but I think this is in sync. And it does bother me when the thing is out of sync. And one reason it bothers me is because I've solved the problem, and then it comes back. Behind me, this is the Chrome box, by the way, back there. That's let's see. That's the Chrome box back there. So I've got the Chrome operating system on a Chrome box, and then I have Windows 11 here. Anyway, thank you very much for, oh, no, I think maybe I didn't finish the thing. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think politically what we should do is, we had a bad situation. We had the worst president that we've ever had, and I think the worst president what we need to do is, okay, what went wrong? What went wrong in this election? What went wrong in the election? What went wrong in the appointments that were made? All these things we should say, wow, that was a mess, because we didn't think that a president would do that. We didn't think a president was going to try to get a mob to kill his vice president. Well, maybe that was not something new, because in the beginning of our country, the way the Constitution was set up, the person who, for president, the person who got the most votes was the president. The person who got the second number of votes was the vice president. So we had situations where we had, you know, a president of one party and a vice president of the other party, which was the opposite party, and they fucking hated each other. And so situations were bad then. And that was a change, you know, we changed the Constitution. And that, you know, now it works this other way. And that's the same too with like the Senate, you know, there's 2 senators elected for each, you know, state. And of course there are, you know, what happens if one of them resigns, or does the governor pick one until an election? You know, it's up to state law, I think. But in the beginning, the state legislatures picked the 2 senators. It wasn't the citizens voting. It was, you know, the legislature of the state picked them. And that did not work out well, because a lot of the states, if not all of them at that time, you know, were pretty corrupt. A lot of politics going on. I mean, well, you'd think a lot of politics would be good, but I'm talking about, you know, large ranchers or in some state, you know, more or less controls the state, or a railroad tycoon or something, you know, whatever. And so that did not work out. Well, watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the movie. That way. Although for that movie, that was not the way the by then, you know, but so that was changed to take it away from the legislators voting in the state to the people of the state actually, you know, voting. So what we need to do now is look at how things have gone wrong and what can we do to change it. And I'm 80 years old. I'm not going to be around to see any of the changes that might happen, and probably none of them will happen. I think one way, the only way you might be able to make things work would be if, because they're all these politicians, you know, Democrats, Republicans, state legislators and all that type of stuff, they're all thinking about themselves. You know, can I get elected president? How is this going to affect me or whatever? So what you might have to do is, if you want to make some change, it might have to be that this change will take place in 40 years or something, or 50 years. The only way you can get, because then they'd say, well, okay, then I'll be president by then, or, you know, whatever. So, what else? Well, time for me to take my night medications, and I thank you for watching.